Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you a teacher stationery box. We all, or majority of people nowadays have children that are leaving school, moving schools, changing, etc. And it seems to be the done thing now not to give an apple but to give a gift. And I know that a lot of people find it quite hard to find sort of 5-6 different gifts for people, so I wanted to try and find something that was going to be relatively inexpensive but still looked really cute and was fairly easy to make. So I came up with this. Now I'm hoping you can see inside here I've got some of our library clips, I have some of our metallic brads, and in here are some cute little bone shaped paper clips that I actually got recently. I'm using the beautiful petal pink and white and silver baker's twine on this one, and the twinkle adhesive backed stars that I think are so cute. And basically these little boxes inside actually come out, they're separate, so they could always take a tray out and use it for something, etc. So I'm going to show you how to make it, but you're going to have to be patient with me because this die cutting here, that's the first time I tried something like this, so we'll see how well this goes on here. So to start off with then, you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock that are 6 5/8 by 5 1/8. I'm sorry for the measurements, it's the only thing I could get to work. And that is for a base and a lid, so they're both the same size, which is in centimetres is 18 by 14 centimetres. So I'm just going to bring in my scoring board here. So for the base, we're going to score at 1/2 inch and 1 inch on all 4 sides. So 1/2 inch and 1 inch, which is 1 1/2 and 3 centimetres. Bye UPS man. Shame he hasn't been to me today. Never mind. Okay, so that's my base, which I'm going to pop just to one side for the moment. My lid, I'm going to use a double shim for, so I've got 2 pieces of the same cardstock and I'm going to use a double shim for this one and score exactly the same, so 1/2 and 1. Again, 1 1/2 and 3 centimetres on all 4 sides. Don't do that. So there's 1. These smaller score lines are always harder when you have a shim because you're trying to get in close, but obviously you don't want to get in the way or knock the shims out of the way. Okay, so there's my lid. I'm going to put this over to the right. I'm telling you that so you can remind me if I get muddled up. I'm just going to move that out of the way for a moment because I will need it in a minute. We're going to make our base up. So if you recall, okay, we're going to score these, burnish these score lines. If you recall, I have made reinforced boxes recently on my Bookfold Tea Light thank you gift, and also on my stamped box that I made, gift box. These both had reinforced lids, and I just think it makes the tops just a little bit tidier. And so cutting these corners is exactly the same as the others. So if you remember, I had a little bit of a ditty, a rhythm thing, a song going. So it was cut down, cut off, wedge, wedge, wedge. Okay, so we do that same opposite side. So cut down, cut off with a wedge, cut off, wedge, wedge, wedge. And we'll do the same again the other side. And you kind of get yourself into a little bit of a rhythm and seem to be then able to just remember what needs to be cut, what needs to be wedged. Just makes it a bit easier. And my last one, and obviously the lid is done in exactly the same way, so you lucky guys, I bet you can't wait to hear me do the whole cut, wedge bit again. Okay, so we'll take that out. Come on, where have you gone? There we go. So just take that little bit out. Let's get rid of all that rubbish. And then we need to put some adhesive on. So, sorry, still using the fuse. So I'm going to put some on. So if this is going to be the bottom of your box, so your box will fold in this way, you want the bottom facing up and you want to put adhesive on these little tabs here. Not on your grid paper because that doesn't help. And then flip it over and run it on the inside of the long pieces. Okay, and then just simply make it up as you do. Fold your pieces in for your box. It is all terribly tacky, I'm afraid, but we'll get there. So that's all folded up, and then these just fold over the top. And then with our bone folder, we're just going to reinforce that adhesive and really give that crease some strength there, just so that it gives it a nice, crisp, clean edge. And the last one. So there is my little base. So we'll pop that there because then I want to make up my drawers. So you want 3 pieces of cardstock for your drawers, and these are 5, sorry, they're not drawers, they're boxes, 5 by 3.5 inches, which is 10 by 12 centimetres. And for these we are going to score, yes, you've guessed it, at 1/2 and 1 on all 4 sides. So 1/2 and 1. And you do this for, oops, for all 3 of your little boxes. And while I have your attention, while I'm doing this, have you seen the offer for joining Stampin' Up as a demonstrator during July? Oh my goodness. Not only do you get your £130 worth of products for £99, but you also get to choose one of our Colour Families ink pads. So you could choose £130 worth of products, and then you choose a whole colour family. So subtles, brights, neutrals or regals, and you get the whole collection free with your starter kit. How amazing is that? There will be a blog post on my blog very soon about it, but there is images on Instagram, etc. So if you are interested and you want to know some more information, then obviously get in touch with me. Very exciting. It makes me feel like leaving and rejoining. But I wouldn't do that. Not now. Okay, so my 3 little boxes then. As you can see, I've made all my score lines. And I'm now just going through, folding and burnishing all the score lines. I was going to do these off camera, or a couple of them off camera, so they'd be readily made. And then I thought, no, they don't take long. I'd clearly forgotten how long they actually do take. But anyway, we're getting there now. And obviously when we cut these corners, it's exactly the same again. So reinforced little boxes, again just because they look tidier. So somebody's making a din outside, what a surprise. It's just too hot to have the windows closed while I'm doing this. I can feel myself getting hot now, but I can't close the windows, as I have to keep my door closed because my son is no longer at college. He's just finished his course, just done his last exam, so he's now off, and obviously he's playing on his computer games, so every now and again you hear him shout. He has been warned, and there are several doors closed between us. So yeah, so I can't have the windows closed as well, it would be unbearable. So I'm afraid we have to deal with noise from outside. Okay, so there's my first box. Oh, seriously? they're literally there outside my window. I think they're repairing a manhole cover. So I'm not actually going to complain too much, because when cars drive over it, it sort of goes donk donk, and it's frustrating when you're in bed. So I can't complain too much that they're mending it. Just hope they aren't any noisier, or I will have to close the window. Okay, maybe I should have made these up beforehand, but never mind. You get to hear me rattle and people mending manhole covers outside my house, so that's all good. Oops. Right. Cut, cut, wedge, wedge, wedge. Cut, 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 wedge, wedge, wedge. Okay, last one. I hear you shouting yay. I'm sure you've probably fast forwarded this part of the video anyway. Most people would. I certainly would have done. I'd be like, I'm so bored listening to you talking rubbish. And listening to the manhole covers. Okay, nearly there. I daren't go too fast because I know I'll end up making a mistake, and then that would just be awful. And I'm also not wanting to rush because I know that it will make me worry about cutting the die cut out of the lid. I don't want that to go wrong. Okay, so I know that I fiddled with it when I made that one, so we'll see how much it takes me fiddling with the other. Right, so snip, snip, wedge, wedge, done. 3 boxes done. Glad it wasn't any bigger because it would be awful. Let me get rid of all my rubbish. Sorry, but I am a tidy freak, so I do have to keep getting rid of it. Right, exactly the same way. Bottom of your box. Let's get some adhesive on these wedges. Adhesive on the insides. Make these boxes up. Don't stick. So exactly the same as the base, just a smaller one. Tab. Come on. Let's squeeze those bits in, and I'll do the bone folding in a moment when I've got them all done. So adhesive on those tabs, flip it over, and then adhesive on these long pieces here. Make your box up. Okay, that's that done. Last one. And remember, if you still have fuse and you're using it, to hold on to those little tabs, because there's not much card there, and when you flick the fuse it could tear them off. I'm speaking from experience here. So just put your finger on the corner. Whoops. So those are my little boxes made up. Right, get the bone folder in there, give these a quick press, reinforce that edge, make it nice and neat. Give them a good press. And the last one. Okay, they didn't take that long, did they? Okay, so those are my 3 little boxes now that will sit in here. Don't do this to me. Perfectly, there we go. A little bit springy in the middle, that's fine. So we need to add some beautiful decoration. So I've used Petal Pink on this one, and this one is Pool Party, and these are just simply the Suttles DSP, and these little panels are 3 1/8 by 4 5/8, and in centimetres that is 3.7 by 7.4, and they just sit in the very bottom there. Again, all of these measurements and details will be on my blog, So if you didn't catch them or you don't want to listen to me drivel on again, then just pop over to my blog. There's a link just below and you can get all the measurements off there. So pop these back in. There we go, they fit a bit better this time. So I'm going to put in this one, some erasers, some little push pins and some normal paper clips that I have an absolute box load of. There we go. So that's those done. Let's pop that over to one side because I now need to do my lid. So before I do my folding and burnishing, I'm using my layered squares. I've already picked out the size that I want, and obviously I don't want a square, I want an oblong. So like I said, this is only the second time I've done this, so please be patient with me, and it might take me a moment just to fathom out what I'm doing. So the first part I want to cut out is this half. Now you could do the whole thing and then just do some extra, that's fine, or if you want to just take the whole thing out in one go, you need to place this so that this cutting edge is over the edge of your board here. Get your framelit where you want it, pop it on and run it through as you would normally. Okay, so take that off. So pull this off, and obviously you've only got your part die cut, so your little flap here. So now I want to finish off the cutting. So have your flap this end, and what you want to try and do here, and this is where it gets a bit fiddly, is make sure you've got an equal space here to there that you've got, but you also need to line up the scallops. So you're probably better off not using a scalloped one for your first go, which is what I've done. You can feel the scallops line up. The next challenge is to pop this on your mat again and not have it move. So I'm hoping that this is going to work. Moment of truth. Drum rolls, please. Let's move this. I daren't look. I'm terrified that this might have gone wrong. Yay! Just a very slight little there in the middle there. I'm sure you wonderful ladies and gents out there have a better way of doing this, but hey, that's how I did it. So I've got my little hole cut here now. I need to pop some window sheet on the inside, so I'm just going to pop it over and grab some glue dots, and my window sheet is 3 by 4 inches, and that's 10 by 7 centimetres. So I'm just putting some glue dots on all 4 corners, and then obviously just on the inside, just pop him over your bit you've cut. You may want to add a couple more glue dots if you want to, and then obviously we just need to make our lid up. So exactly the same as we did for the base and the drawers, boxes. Why do I keep calling them drawers? Base and boxes. Fold and burnish your score lines, and then you've guessed it, cut, cut, wedge, cut, wedge, wedge, wedge. Same again, cut, 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 wedge, wedge, wedge. And again down the bottom, cut, 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 wedge, wedge, wedge. Last one, last cut, 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 wedge, wedge, wedge. I'm so glad that worked out. It was the one thing I was worried about, but it worked. Okay, so again, bottom, no, the top this time. So the top of the box needs to face you. Get your adhesive on those little wedges. And now you need the inside of the lid for these ones. Okay, so let's quickly put this together so we can decorate it, because that's the fun part as well, isn't it? So fold those in. Pop this on. And now you will notice, those of you that follow my videos as well, is that I haven't put this on the box to then put the end together. I am quietly comfortable that this will just fit just right. Second moment of truth, will it fit? And it does, just perfect, she says, forcing that end in. That's only because this end's a bit deep. Drop down there, there we go. Oh, I've done it this end now. There we go. So, a snug fitting lid on my box. So, I've got this gorgeous new Pool Party and Silver Baker's twine, which is gorgeous. So, for this one, I've got a decent length of it here. A great big thick spool of it as well. And what I'm going to do is keep a length here for my sort of tail end, and then I'm trying to remember how I did this. That was it. Did I do it that way? Yes, that's right. I can't remember how I did this now. There we go. No, that's not right either. That's it. So I did it diagonal like that, and then I did my bow. Heavens above, it's been a long day. This is what happens when you try and video several videos in one go. For me anyway, it all goes a bit wrong. But anyway, there we go. Pretty, pretty, pretty. No, it still doesn't look the... Let's just have a look. No, it is just how I did that one. Right, let's just trim these a fraction. And then we just finally need to add our little bit of decoration. So I've got my Twinkle adhesive, I can't remember what these ones are called, Twinkle adhesive back sequins piercing tool here. So I'm just going to pop, I'm actually only going to pop 4 on this one, just in those corners. Just breaks that border up a little bit. Of course, you could always stamp this before you made it up. So that's that part. I've then got my piece of Pool Party here, embossing buddy across the bottom, Versamark, and my lovely Label Me Pretty. So I want You're the Best, and I want that pattern outer bit, border maybe. So I can't remember now where I use my embossing buddy. Then You're the Best. Which way round? That's the right way round. There, that looks almost straight. Silver embossing powder to tie in all that silver nicely. Then I've just got a tiny bit there that I don't want. Embossing powder everywhere. Heat tool. It's a little bit wonky, I think this one is, but we'll go with it. And just heat this up. Yeah, there we go. Look, I'm holding it very close to my card, but it's fine. To get all that silver heated up. Out of the way, get my punch, my pretty label punch. Make sure this is cooled down a fraction because I have smudged my embossing before now, pushing it through a punch too quickly. Come on, what's happening here? Oh, it's because I heated the card. It's misshapen it a little bit, making it not quite so smooth to get in. Punch that out. Some decent dimensionals on the back. And then we just stick it in the corner of our little box. I'm just going to tuck it under there. And this is also handy if you've bodged up the cutting, because that will actually hide it. And then just wiggle this a fraction to get your bow where you want it. And I've actually done it now. There we go. And those are my teacher stationery gift boxes. Hope you enjoy them, and I hope your teachers enjoy them. See you all again soon. Bye.